there just wasn't another option.
Yeah.
And you back yourself into a corner far enough that it all makes sense. And so he could really see his way through it. And so he bought, he had the $3,000 and gets the van shelved, and it was a one-man show. He had to sell, service, and do the whole game himself.
Hello, my name is Matt Brose with Lockton. In my role, I consult with employers all around the country related to their employee benefits strategy. We're in conversations all the time about how to attract the best talent and get the best out of their people. Work ethic, integrity, those are all traits of people that pursue excellence, and it doesn't even stop there. From the boardroom to the storeroom, we're going to find out what drives those people. Welcome to the excellence culture. This is going to be an excellent adventure. Welcome to the excellence culture. Again, this is Matt Brost with Lockton Dunning Benefits, and I'm honored to have here with me Clay Parks, good friend of mine.
Yeah.
And Clay is the CEO of Parks Coffee, an organization that is widely known for their service.
Yeah.
I would assume we'll get into the details, but I would assume that's a huge focus of y'all's and why Parks Coffee is so successful.
Yep.
But I just want to start by saying thank you for your friendship, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just been a joy to get to know you and your family.
Thank
and
you.
Not only, we're going to talk about business a little bit today, but just on a personal side, you just exude excellence in everything you do, and I appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
So
appreciate that. Glad to be here.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Honored.
Yeah. Well, I would love, we're going to kind of go past, present, future a little
Sure.
bit, and I'd love to know just a little bit about your upbringing, kind of just share some of the high moments and things that you would want somebody to know about the way you were brought up in this world.
Sure. Yeah, I really consider myself lucky. I'm a brother and a son to a mom and dad that started a company when I was 2 in our garage. And I had a front row to the humble beginnings of what it takes to start, bootstrap company. And I feel really lucky to see so many lessons firsthand. And, so I grew up in Carrollton. Dad starts the company at 2. He has $3,000 and he buys a van. And my mom she's going, what? Because previously they're both from Oklahoma. Dad's from Stillwater. Mom's from mid-cities in Oklahoma City. And so they get married. Dad is one of 9 kids and trying to figure out life. Has a really hard upbringing, super poor family, and a great family though. And he gets a opportunity the day he turns 18. He leaves and he starts on a pipeline, and he runs a pipeline from the western side to the eastern border of Kansas. And so that experience taught him that he needs to go and try to figure out something else. So he goes back, and the only guy, his dad died young, and he has so many of those stories, and they really, that funeral home really kind of took him under his wing, let him cut around the tombstones and make a little extra money through school, or his primary school and high school. And then he went back and talked to the funeral director, said, hey, what do I do? And he had some advice, and so there was some money to get a mortuary science degree. And if you meet my dad, he's not a mortuary science person. And so, but they're going to pay for school. So he goes to school, and it was an incredible experience. He met some great people and a fraternity brother, and our first employee encouraged him, said, hey, that is weird what you're doing. You need to get on a coffee route, and you need to start selling to people. You got a great personality. And so he encouraged him to get with the local group out of Oklahoma City, and Dad was good at it and just really loved it. Earl Neighbors taught him the business, and he could see himself doing it himself. And so but he needed to grow and learn a little bit more. So Earl gave him a shot and said, hey, we're going to go to, I need you to go run the branch in Tulsa. And my mom said that was too far from Oklahoma City. And so he stayed in Oklahoma City, and he said, well, if another chance comes, I'm taking it. And they gave him a chance to move down to Dallas and run it. And so he ran it. They had me in between the move down to Dallas. I was just a guy willing to take risk, because it's so interesting. I think he was willing to do that.
Is this Carrollton?
This is Carrollton.
Okay.
Yeah. And he was willing to do it, and if you talk to him, there just wasn't another option.
Yeah.
And you back yourself into a corner far enough that it all makes sense. And so he could really see his way through it. And so he bought, he had the $3,000 and gets the van shelved, and it was a one-man show. He had to sell, service, and do the whole game himself. And it's incredible to think about. When I think about the existing business we have today, my dad doing all of that, all of those touch points. And my mom babysat kids out of the front of the house, and we had the coffee service peddling coffee out the back, and it was beautiful, man. There was like a unity to survive, and I, as a kid, they were always both very present, and we didn't have everything. We actually didn't have much, but we had a common goal of, we felt like we were all in it together. And from really the beginning, and my dad and mom, they just did a wonderful job, making our family a strong unit without a lot. And they did things that brought us together. Like on Saturdays, when it was in the garage, everybody would help out with the product and the equipment. And but you observe when you're young what your dad does, and my dad was always working before I got up. And I think those traits carry into you of kind of what it takes. But I never heard a complaint growing up. I never heard an unfortunate story. My mom tells a story that she had saved up money to take us to SeaWorld because we had never been on a vacation. I think I was 8 or 9 or something, and my dad found it, and he bought coffee brewers with it to go into the next account. And she recounts that story, and my mom is incredible. I think behind most great men, you're going to find an even better woman, and that's my mom. She's just
that's the truth, man.
She's
that
just
was a good statement.
She's just a servant.
Yeah.
And her heart is amazing. And, while I know that she has questioned Dad, and these entrepreneurial things he's done, I know that she was always there to back him. And, the business really took off when I was in middle school, high school. But, the reps earlier, and the struggles, the entrepreneurial struggles, going through those is how he learned, and he developed this incredible selling system. And he knew that he had to be different. So I think we're talking about past still here, right? I'm way off topic.
Good,
but he knew he had to be
we're
different.
good.
So he built a business model without contracts, because he knew that he could go into an account, a potential business, and say, you don't have to sign anything. There's no guarantees from you, but I'm gonna serve you so well that you're gonna keep using my business.
Yeah.
And so that's how he did it, and that's how you have to do it if you're scrapping.
Yeah.
And so that enabled him to gain a lot of business, and he outworked everybody. And defining the outwork, it wasn't hours. It was intentional, engaged service that when you said you were going to be there, you were there. And he always says, it's a day before business. And so you prepare today for tomorrow. And so when you're an everyday, work-a-day business like we are, blue-collar service company, if you're not prepared today for tomorrow, you're going to fail tomorrow. So that's what he built his mantra on. And, punctuality, when we say we're going to be there, we got to be there.
Yeah.
If your coffee brewer is not working and we say we're going to be tomorrow and we're not there tomorrow, the customer has that moment where they question.
So as you guys grew, you guys became much more than a homegrown company. I mean, but it did seem like there was still this very intent focus on those grassroots service dynamics that you guys
He wanted to
had.
we strive for our customers' affection painted on the first building he built on the side of it. And it's not there anymore, but I'm going to bring it back.
We strive for our customers' affection. That's cool.
My dad...
I might use that.
Yeah. And incredible, man. There was no business education. He was caught up. He would he had this little book. I don't remember what it was called, but it had these little stories about just these business successes, and he would get it every month. It was kind of like a Reader's Digest for leaders, and he loved it. And he would on his voicemail every day, he would change his voicemail. This is back when voicemail was before the text, but he would change it to be a message every day that was different. Hey, thank you for calling Rainy Parks. Hey, today let's go out and do and make the customer smile. And he would say the date, and he would say a message. And I remember hearing it as a little kid growing up, and I was like, man, we're in the garage, or we're in our first warehouse, or we have 10 people. Where are you getting this from?
Yeah.
And he had just this incredible ability to see past where he was, and being able to see around the corner of what it's going to be really is why he is where he is today. And he could visualize it, and man, he made it happen. And probably he's had a lot of businesses. We had a bottled water company that he tried. We had an office products company. He was the first guy to sell a K-Cup online. We've had
that kind of was a catapult, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The K-Cup.
The K-Cup is his greatest move.
Yeah.
And it was at a point of crisis.
Yeah.
And we are 2011, 12. The patent on the K-Cup is expiring. We're in a contract with the biggest K-Cup maker, and they have a lock on the market. They own every brand at that point. And it starts with a G and it ends with a mountain.
Okay.
And they were a big company. And so we were an authorized distributor, but the K-Cup patent is expiring, and it's our opportunity. We're already roasting coffee at this point. We're making fractional packs, which are the packs that you open up to make a pot of coffee in the office, an air pot or glass pot. And the K-Cup is huge. It won the home and it won the office. And he says we're going to make one. And he's like, it's expiring. I know we can do it, and he laid it all out on the line. And I remember I was just in the business. I started in 2009, and this was 2 years in. I was still working my way up, and he would invite me in these meetings, and they were contentious with this group. And I was talked to him at one point. I was like, do you know this is going to work? He's like, I don't know, but I'm willing to take the chance. And because of that, our ability to manufacture that product instead of resell it completely changed our capital available to grow. And so we started the Plug and Play. And we had so many incredible people that we knew that if we could take them to their own city, that they could make Parks Coffee work. And so we would plant these talented individuals and give them a salesman, and they would run the route, and then they would build it organically. We bought very few companies. I'm just really proud of that. That was just an incredible move. Yeah, really cool.
That is really, really cool. And so fast forward a little bit, maybe a lot in your mind, but 2019, you guys are a crazy healthy company.
Yep.
Where did your revenue get to before around that time?
Yeah, so we got to, we were at 85 million.
Okay. So very healthy company, just kind of going into the sunset a little bit.
We were going
to
the moon.
March of 2020,
yep,
and COVID happens.
Yeah, we served the business break room.
Yeah,
and we're in shutdown.
Yes.
And we are looking around going, what? Because we don't have a customer to serve. And we only service the business break room. We haven't developed any grocery store coffee or an online presence. What do we do? And my dad had, he was around, and incredible leaders, James Ingle, Mike Casey, just incredible people that we were in a room, and it was a crisis point, and we're all going, what's the response, And we knew that we had to make, when you have shutdown orders of something we've never seen, and no one's, because we've always said, okay, let's use the past to predict the future, and that's how we set our goals. That's how we do budgets, we do forecasts. Well, this is never a past.
Yeah.
So we don't know any learned behavior from it, and so we were all looking around going, okay, well, what's proven in the past and nobody knew? And so we knew that we had to make some tough decisions in order for there hopefully to be a business on the other side. Because we all thought it was 2 months at most, 6 weeks. And then it kept going. And we had to lay off people. And people that have worked for us for 20 years.
Yeah.
Families, right? And they're in a bad spot. They can't see the future. And here we are having to make really hard decisions. And so we lay these people off, and we're down. We're just under 500 people, and we go to 37.
Like overnight, almost.
Within 2 days.
Yeah.
And we're doing all these funny things. I'm answering frontline calls. We're sending out emails saying, hey, if you need us, let us know. I'm delivering product to locations. Everybody is. We were just trying to, if you're there and you're an essential worker, we want to be there to serve you. And it was a scramble. And it was, I wouldn't call it unorganized, but we cut really deep because there was only so much cash available. We had 10 months is what we forecasted at burning rate of a full steamboat going down the river. And so we couldn't see through what we had, but we knew we had to respond to the revenue levels. And so we responded and we followed the revenue line. And then we said, okay, we're going to follow the revenue line back up. And PPP really worked.
Yeah.
Because we used that money to bring people back before everybody else.
Yeah.
And so while it was tough, we followed our revenue.
Is that
line.
what you drew to mostly in the grow back, is the employees that you had to lay off?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those people came back, and probably 90% are back with us still.
Okay.
And so we went to those ones first, and those that were willing to come back. And there's all sorts of regulations, all sorts of information. And are we essential? Yes. Okay. Well, who's open? All right. Well, let's go. Lots of closed business doors, but we're slowly seeing it come back. People are coming back. Some people are staying remote. Okay, so what does that mean for our business? We serve the business break room. Is the business break room dead?
Yeah.
All the articles, right?
Yeah.
You can work remote. Your culture will be okay. You can train remote, right? And so we're Zooming. Everybody's Zooming. We're like, I don't know. So PPP comes back. We're like, we're gonna use the money and bring them back, because we betted on it early, cut early. Well, let's bring back early. And if this thing gets fired back up, because we believed that there was going to be competitive pressure that you couldn't compete if you were 100% at home. Your culture wasn't going to survive. You weren't able to influence. You weren't able to impress upon. You weren't able to drive. So we thought that competitive pressures would bring people back to the workplace, because maybe they could only stay home so long. And I think there's a great work from home model too. I'm not saying there's not, but I do see a balance. And I see that, eventually people knew and got back to collaborating and sitting face to face, because as soon as you
it's a culture thing.
Yeah, as soon as you hit the red button on the call and it's done, there was always some chatter in a conference room after your formal meeting was done that maybe some incredible ideas came up.
Yeah.
And so we knew that I was going to capture again.
Yeah.
And so we were early back, and we were able to gain a lot of new business and had our best year in 2022 because we were willing to serve early.
Yeah.
And we had more people on the sidelines to jump in the game. And COVID rocked me as a leader. I just, lots of questions.
Yeah.
You question every move more then, because you didn't understand the environment.
Yeah.
And you didn't know what you're coming back to. And I wish I could go back to myself then. And of course you wish you had a crystal ball, but I felt like moves were fatal and that they had, but I think there's more elasticity in some decisions than we think. And there's more flexibility in certain things. And I thought it was so black and white. But I think as leaders, you feel that pressure and you feel the weight. Sometimes you need to understand that, hey, these things are more flexible.
Yeah, when your employees came back, was there just a sensitivity to the instability still at that point?
Yeah.
did that intersect with the culture a little bit and make the culture challenging, or did you find when people came back they were so ready to work, the culture was easy?
Yeah, we had a restructuring.
Yeah.
We went to an ERP, thank God, in 2019, and we had this incredible data platform, and we were able to put territories into zones and route logistically things by zip code, and so we could then tear our structure down and build it back up. And we built it different, and we knew that route people through the building back process, which is always the greatest process, is you learn so much, is that we figured out that the route person could handle more responsibility. And if you can trust your frontline boots on the ground person to handle more responsibility, educate them the right way, you get your service levels go so much higher. And we really figured that out when we dug into the base person who really is in front of the customer, and we really started working hard on structuring their days right. Man, our service levels went through the roof, and their sales on their routes got better. They ended up making more money, and now their routes are better. Their routes are bigger than they were pre-COVID.
So I mean, the adversity, the challenge, I mean, the world-changing thing that was COVID for you allowed you guys the opportunity to actually be better on the other side.
It did, and I wish I would have known it.
Yeah.
You know, but that's the part where I'm saying if you could learn from the hard stuff.
Yeah.
And the hard stuff was the layoff.
Yeah.
Because those are families, you know. And but the build back, with a lot of those people back, now they're in a better place.
Yeah.
And we had to take some hard steps, but that's the beauty of it. But yeah, when they first came back, and we were like, "Hey, welcome back."
Yeah.
Businesses aren't coming back to the break room.
Mm-hmm.
I know that they're going to come back eventually, but we're going to be here ready. There was probably a lot of doubt, you know.
Do you have a lesson or any kind of advice that you can share, just this community, related to maybe one of the biggest things you learned from that moment? I mean, it can be really simple, or
I think there are. I think you are not smart as a leader if you aren't willing to change over time. Yeah. But I do think, though, if you build a business on a pillar, you know, on a core, you know, like us, it was that people got together to do business, and and that we were going to serve them while they were doing business.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I would reminded myself of the power of that, like us, like this is so much better face to face than digital, right? But there's a place for digital. But I wish I would have reminded myself that we built our business on a really strong platform that isn't going to evaporate. Yeah. That it does need to be changed and molded over time, but it's not so gray and gray and white, you know, or white and black. There is some gray. Yeah. But I think the biggest lesson was you know, that we didn't overreact, that we were prudent, and through the hard times, you just have to be just completely, you know, we followed the revenue line. Yeah.
Well, man, I've really actually loved this time with you, because we're usually we're playing golf, and we're not getting these good conversations all the time. But you got anything that you want to kind of leave this time? Any kind of last words or anything like that?
No, I'm proud of you, man. This is incredible. I think I'm ready to watch this and learn from other people too.
No, it's really cool, and I mean the things that you shared, we're gonna be able to learn from, man. This whole community is, and I appreciate you being transparent. I know that Parks Coffee, just congratulations are in order.
Thank you.
You guys have recently gone through an acquisition with Canteen. Yes. I've heard wonderful things about Canteen. Mm-hmm. And so congratulations, man.
Thank you. Yeah, that was really a great moment for my dad and my mom, getting to honor them, allow them to take some chips off the table, which they've never done. Yeah. And you know, I'm so proud of that. You know, they acquired the brand. We're operating off ledger, still running the company. Yeah. They gave us that chance, and that's great. They've been a great partner. I think there's going to be awesome things to come for Parks Coffee.
Yeah.
Since we still own the roasting and manufacturing.
Still roasting some good coffee.
Still own that piece, and
Yeah.
they are buying that from us, and I'm looking forward to really partnering with them.
That's awesome.
So yeah, good things.
All right. Well, thank you, man. And welcome to
you.
the excellence culture.
Thank you. Appreciate it.